Well, welcome back to Simple Truth. We're trying to get some simple truths out of the story of David. Last week talked about spiritual foundation shaking. What happens, right? When God decides to pull away, right? Those maybe who have been lifting you up. What happens when you have to finally stand on your own? Up to this point, David really has been lifted up, protected by Samuel. Now Samuel's gone. So what's going to happen? It's a very interesting thing because usually in these moments, right, God wants to make sure that we can stand on our own. That's a truth. But he also will provide, right, someone else to come into our path, right, that will not take the place, right, but will kind of guide us in a new direction. Well, usually these moments, God's changing things up. He's going to do something different. So he does that to David here in a very unique and different way. One of my favorite stories in the Old Testament, right? My favorite woman of the Old Testament enters the story here, and God is going to take that which Samuel did, and he's going to take the mantle and he's going to put it on a woman, really, to speak truth and help lift David up. So look at verse 2. It says, "Then David rose and he went down to the wilderness of Paran. There was a man in Maon whose business was in Carmel. The man was very rich, 3,000 sheep, 3,000 goats, and he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife was Abigail. The woman was discerning and beautiful, but the man was harsh and badly behaved, and he was a Calebite." Right? So again, we pick up the story here with David is in this wilderness experience. He's learning how to shepherd people, take care of people. And so he's out and about in this area, and there's a rich man, a super rich man, got a lot of sheep, got a lot of goats, got a lot of things, right? Well, what he has most importantly is he has a beautiful, discerning wife, right? A very smart wife. He, on the other hand, is not so smart, and he's very harsh and mean, right? Again, I'm going to say this. You can take it, you can do with it what you want, throw it out, or you can chew on it a little bit, right? A lot of times God blesses us, and he gives us things, and he expects that we are going to steward those things well. And when we decide not to steward the things of God well, he will warn us, and he will convict us, and he will try to give us help and do all the things to help us with this. But eventually God says, enough. I'm going to take that which you have. I'm going to give it to someone else. Right? At the basis of this story is that God is going to take the wealth of someone else and he's going to give it to David. This is important because, again, we hear later on, right? We will hear the words spoken to David. Hey, I've given you all this stuff, and if you needed anything more, I would give you more, right? A transfer sometimes of resources, of wealth, right? Of opportunities, of ministries. Sometimes it happens, right? We get caught up in the details of how it's happening. But the truth is that God promises, like, hey, if you don't steward this well and take care of this, I'm going to take it, I'm going to give it to someone else, right? And that's important. You and I want to live a lifestyle. We want to live in such a way that we would be worth, right? God taking a second look at us and saying, hey, this person is doing pretty good stewarding. I'm going to help out here. I'm going to give them more to steward, right? So that's my question for you with this simple truth, right? It's, are you living a lifestyle that is not necessarily worthy, right? But are you worth God saying, hey, you've been faithful with little, I'm going to make you, right? I'm going to give you more opportunity. I'm going to give you more resources, my resources for you to take care of, right? That's the basis of the story, is that you have a man who's been given a lot, but he's not doing a lot with it, right? He was given an opportunity to take care of David. We're going to see that in a minute. And then he decided not to take advantage of that opportunity. So are you living a life that's worth God, right? Maybe blessing you with some more to steward. You think about that. Only you and God can answer that. We'll see you next time right here on Simple Truth.